Hi guys, welcome back to our dashboard series. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to create a sticky table header for both the table titles and the toolbar header as well. So as you can see, while I scroll, they are both sticky and they do not scroll with the table details. So we're going to start off by making the toolbar header sticky first before we move over to the table titles. So the first thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to select this frame that houses all the content here. Then I'm going to make sure to give it a fill color that rhymes with the general one we have, which is white. I'll give it a top padding of 12 so that when it gets sticky at the top, it doesn't clash with the general frame that we have. So we'll just give it like a little spacing. Then I'm going to come into our frame. So this is the first general auto layout we have. Then I will go in again. This is another auto layout before you now see our columns. I'm going to select the auto layout that houses columns. Then I'm going to add a frame to it by right-clicking on my trackpad and selecting frame selection. So automatically, I've given this a frame. We want our table content to be able to scroll right. So we need to have overflow, like a lot more details on the table or longer columns so that it can be scrollable. So I'm going to just quickly duplicate all our columns. So I'm going to select this one. I'll give it about 10 duplicates. I'm also going to do same for this one. I'll do the same for the rest. Then I'll go back again and select the frame without auto layout, which is the one we just added to this table, right? Then I'm going to make sure I set it to clip content to hide our overflow. I'm also going to select our general container and then give it a bottom padding of 72 so that when we're scrolling vertically, we can be able to have some space. I'm also going to have this selected, right? And I'll just try to bring it back here and also set it to clip content. Then I'll select our auto layout frame that houses all our columns directly, right? I'm going to select that particular one and try to take it down more. I'm also going to make sure that this auto layout frame that directly houses all the table columns isn't set to clip content. So I'm going to remove it from that. I'm going to have our toolbar header selected. I'll come to the scroll behavior section. I'll set the overflow to no scrolling. Then I will set the scroll position to sticky, stop at top edge. Then I'm going to select the frame that does not have auto layout, which is the one we added. Then I'm going to come to the scroll behavior and set the overflow to vertical. So let's preview and see if what we're doing is actually working. So as I drag our table vertically, you can see that the table is scrollable without the toolbar header. So let's go back and make sure that the table titles are able to stick just the way the toolbar header is sticky. If you go into our columns, you realize that our table titles are all attached to like our column items, all of them, right? So what we're going to do now is that I'm going to hold down my shift key on my keyboard. Then I'll select all our table titles and make sure it has its own fill color, which is white for the background. Then I'm going to switch them from auto layout to absolute position, which is also ignore auto layout. So I'm going to select this, and once I select this, then our table titles can now stand on their own. But you would also notice that the rest of the columns are now overlapping with the table title, right? All we need to do is to select the auto layout frame that directly houses all the columns, right? Then I'm going to open up the padding and give it a top padding of about 48 to 56 px, but I'm going to stick with 48 for now. So you can be able to see that we have like some little space to deal with. So I'm going to have our table titles selected again, because now they can independently stand on their own and they can be controlled by auto layout, so it's able to move around. So I'm just going to drag it up whilst you maintaining the line. So while they are all highlighted, I'm going to come to the prototype section and I will set the scroll position to sticky. Then I will come back here again. So I'm going to select this now to preview it. So when I scroll vertically, you can see that our table titles, invoice, client, amount, and the rest of them no longer scrolls with the table items and details, but rather it sticks the way we made our toolbar header to also stick as well. You can see how our columns are moving freely while our table titles are able to stay sticky. So we've come to the end of this tutorial and I hope that you learned something today. If you have questions or any concerns at all, do let me know in the comment section.